engine. This is my folder. So static meshes. These two are from the starter content. This was just a placeholder from something I'd made previously. This is the floor for the second level. I made it into one static mesh so that the texture would be uniform across the whole level. And then I've got the materials here for the enemies. It's just a simple material. I've made it so that they can glow, but the parameter so it's editable on each instance. And then there's a map here, which is just a blank map that I used for the demo complete widget. And then the other one was a test map for testing out my new things. So in the enemies folder, I created everything to do with the enemies. This is spawner, which basically just goes through multiple different events and puts it onto the HUD, the waves alert coming in. Then it begins the wave going through this stun check function, which just checks whether all the enemies are dead, and spawns enemies here, and it spawns them in a random location going from the navigational radius, and it adds it into an array for the current alive enemies. And then this one has a, like, it's on overlap, it starts. The other one is just in a general. So these are all spawn off data tables, which I've created, which have 3 different elements for each enemy type. So you can just add a new array if there's a new enemy type created. It just needs to be added into the structure. It's got the hider, in this one says the enemy type, the behavior tree, and the spawn count. Each one's got their own AI. They've all got a class controller, blackboard, and a behavior tree. I should have been able to just use one blackboard, but there's an error. It kept going up with an issue which I couldn't fix. And the fix I found was using the blackboard for each one separately. If I was to do this again, I would figure out what that error is. So we only need one blackboard, so there's less resources being used. And next time I was to do things with AI, I want to learn how to do the AI perception properly, because what I've done here works, but it doesn't work as well as I'd like it to. Also have the setup for the enemies here. So it's got it going through. This part was done by Ellie, but there's an issue with it spawning multiple on death, so I'll put a do once in here. And then also in the AI folder, I've got some contexts that I created, which basically just get all actors of class. There's a task for firing, so it's in the behavior trees rather than being in the actual blueprints, because it's repeated multiple times. And these are EQS systems which I've got for doing multiple different things: finding the player, hiding from the player, finding the objects, the power-ups. And then in the blueprints folder, I have got a destructible mesh, which is just made off of a static mesh from the Firelands pack, the pack that we used. This is just a blueprint so that it knows not to destroy other. So basically, destructive meshes, when they get destroyed, they don't destroy other destructible meshes. This is just the normal projectile. And the other two are redundant because we never got that implemented along with the weapons, because we're going to have different weapon types. These two are redundant as well. The ammo spawner is just a simple checks to see if the player's out of ammo and whether the waves have been completed. And then it also checks to see if they're close to death, and spawns health. I made some simple widgets. This one's just a testing one. This one just shows the enemy's health, which you'll see when I launch the game. And then this one's just to say the demo is complete. I also created the player blueprint and the room camera. It's camera with a hitbox. The player blueprint has got all these different things. If it's got an EW, it was done by Ellie rather than me. And then I also made an enum just for the weapon types, but again, that's redundant. I made an animation with blend space, so you can see it's different speed or direction. And if you go past 180, it's going back rather than going across, so it starts walking backwards. So if I launch into it now, and then you'll see it has the next wave up in the top corner there. I'll just clear this wave, which spawns in random locations near set spawns places. And you can see the health bar there, and then there you go. So it's the next wave, and you can see the way the characters are moving in different directions. It also depends on where the character is looking. And when you run out of ammo, it spawns ammo. And that's it.